talking about it and do something!
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent because you're friends with them?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another edition of Jem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. Yes, we are back with the show They Don't Want You to See. In tonight's show, we bring you the very best from the last week in Conspiritardia, including Orwin on US politics, the UK arrest fest as the mastards are rounded up and taken to FEMA camps. Plus, last week we brought you a king without a castle. This week we have a castle without a king. All this and more in tonight's Flat Pack Show. I am your host, Jem, and joining me, as always, are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. I'm running out of breath. They are Kosho, Curve, and this week, in triumphant return, Cat Earth, and verbal diarrhea as well. Oh my gosh, what a lot of people.
Jim, I hate to break the news to you, but the live stream is just completely a black screen.
Yeah, that is weird. That's okay. Now it's hang on.
What about the freaking...
It's the usual.
I think it's fine because
it's all right.
It started out that way last week too.
Yeah, I always do that. Forget to mix it over at the last minute. It's there now. Anyway, or it will be in 13 seconds. So, wait. Oh, also, I'm not forgetting, we've captured a flatty. Joining us tonight is our good friend from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server and the most resilient of flat earthers. Jeremy is with us. He's kind of on his phone and playing with his kids and stuff, so he probably.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Cat Earth, where have you been, mate?
Hey, yeah, just been around, just been working. It's life's hard out there. So, yeah.
It's true, it is. So I'll say to our lovely audience who have joined us this evening, feel free to make a comment in the chat. If it's interesting or funny, I might even read it out. Or hit the super chat and I'll read it out regardless of it being interesting or funny. Are you listening to me, Lyle? I hope so.
Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe Dell can speak up and entice a bunch of super chats too. That was funny.
That was good last week, actually. Yeah. Dell helped me out a lot on the super chat last week. That was very good. Anyway, let's get on with it. We've got a lot to get through. A full hour, over an hour of clips to watch this evening. It's going to take us a couple of hours to get through that lot. So, first tonight, an old favourite of our show. Arwin weighed in with some serious political comment this week. Let's take a look. And I'm nowhere near where I need to be in this. Hold on. Okay, it's coming.
What about the freaking terrorist organizations being erected in the country? You know? And that's not like, oh, it's an old problem. No, literally being created in the country. Like, it's right there. It's happening right now. Why is everybody just sitting back? Is that because Trump just wants to be the good guy afterward? Wants to play like that as all this shit is growing out of hand? And then be like, oh, well, I tried to do something about it. Oh, poor me. Because I didn't know. I didn't know that terrorist organizations with proof out in the open are being created in the country. Hello, there's terrorist organizations in your country being made out in the open. Why don't you fucking do something about it, you weak old fucking idiot? Do something! No, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the elections. Oh, the elections, I gotta keep low.
Right now,
Do something now, you fucking moron! The entire system is
What do we got up
useless.
first?
Like, literally useless. It's not
guide us
even
through
a
this
terrible
thing right here.
bureaucracy anymore. It's just useless. And yeah, I would, if this keeps continuing, I would literally start suggesting, right, go to the government buildings.
Are you guys watching a video or something?
Go into the library.
And you're interrupting it.
Take all the laws,
Sorry.
all the paperwork, all of it, everywhere, and burn it. Burn the whole paper pile down. Burn it all. And burn the entire shitty paperwork. And the bureaucrats that cling on to that, you burn them on those piles of burning paper. Just put them on there. Roast them with it. It's disgusting bureaucracy demons. So why don't you do something? No, burning books is a great idea. Let's burn it. Law books, these shitty billion pages law books. Burn it. It's all shit. It's all shit. It should literally be erased. Not ignored, erased. It should be erased. It's all shit. It's so unbelievably corrupt. Open criminals in positions of power. Not even talking about Trump. Just not even like in the higher, more attention tiers. Although, yeah, there's plenty of these freaking mayors that are just out of their minds. I don't understand why they're just not assassinated by the public. Or it's not somebody just like so fucked up. So fucked up. Like, you know? People are literally killing themselves because of panic situation, just because things are growing out of control. Why don't you just take your gun instead? Go to those fucked up, absolutely public criminals and just fucking assassinate them if you're gonna go out anyway. That's my advice. It's not good advice, because generally I just wouldn't recommend that you put an end to it like that. But yeah, might just as well. Why are these fucking freaks, these monsters, worse than Nazi Germany monsters? Why are they just left there? Just let them go on. Why? Yeah, I'm not encouraging anyone to freaking kill themselves. I'm just saying, yeah, if you're literally going to just give up your life because you don't know a way out, you might just as well take that little bit more extra effort and just take out the freaking open criminal demons. A few of the worst, the most public, terrible people in the world. I'm definitely for everything that I've said. I'm not retracting this at all. Then, yeah, that government is so useless. They're nothing but a parasite and should be burned down and the people just dragged out and shot. Because they are useless fucking parasites. They're not actual government anymore. They just suck. This is not the time to save souls. This is the time to act. To actually do something. To do something about it. Physically. With weapons. Talk to everyone in your neighborhood. Bring this forth. Say, we have to act now. There is a civil war. You must act. We must stop them now. No, I didn't threaten to kill Globers, unorthodox asshole. I said I want trolls dead. I'm very serious here. This is not a joke to me, okay? I'm serious. This is not a parody. This is not satire. This is literal. Everything I said here, I mean literally. And we're gonna stop them. And at the end of this, I'm going to watch the television as I see the people responsible for this being executed in the death penalty. I'm gonna watch that. Can't wait. Can't wait to see them all die. Because they are not going to be put in a freaking jail for that. They are going to be executed. Do something! Burn it all! And the people just dragged out and shot.
My thanks as always to Everett Anderson for that clip of Arwen being, well, pretty creepy, is all I can say. What do you think, American cousins? Are you going to be alerting your neighbors to Arwen's advice?
I'm almost confused on who the enemy was, what he was saying, because he said there's a civil war in the country, and there's terrorists worse than Nazis. And I'm assuming he's talking about like protesters or something like that. But then he says something about the trolls, about killing the trolls being executed on TV. So, yeah, I just hope I'm not in his crosshairs. But
you're one of the trolls.
Start a war.
It kind of makes you glad you don't live in the Netherlands, doesn't it? You know.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah. Never go there.
What do you mean? He lives near Amsterdam and everyone goes there.
Right, he was basically promoting vigilantism, right? That's all. Batman.
Well,
yeah, Batman.
I don't know. I think vigilantism is sort of. I think vigilantism is sort of taking the law into your own hands and dealing with a criminal. Whereas I think what he was advocating was the overthrow of the government, the violent overthrow of the government, and burning of some books laws. You're going to burn the American Constitution, I think.
That sounds un-American, Jim.
That doesn't sound right. I think he was just saying, vigilantes are cool, and they should take out the evil people of the world.
He specifically told Trump to be doing something about this.
Well,
Trump should be suppressing the people.
I'll try and
he's in a tough position, isn't he? So.
Am I too quiet?
You are quite quiet, yeah.
No, you're more quiet than usual, but
I'll do my best to be as loud as possible. Sorry, it is a new microphone, and I think it isn't going to last another week. Before it's replaced.
Get some AirPods.
So I'll try and shout in it and hope that helps.
Well, Arwen was right on the money with his idea to burn the laws because everybody knows that makes them invalid. They can no longer be enforced.
That's a good point.
Well,
and why is he speaking directly to Trump? In order to get Trump to do something, he needs to talk to Q and get Q to get Trump to do it.
Right.
He's out of line.
I think I kind of feel sorry for you Americans in a way because, everyone's got an opinion on American politics, haven't they? Like it's their own politics. Do you think that's true? Do you get that impression?
Yeah, because the thing is, it all does spill over, doesn't it? All our same. Because I know what he's saying when he's talking about the worse than the Nazis. He's talking about all those protesters. I sent you the videos. They literally are doing what the Nazis used to do. They've got a lot of the same. I know people don't want to hear this, but they're obsessed with race politics. They want worker co-ops. They're intimidating people, smashing things up. This is very, very similar to those sort of that time in Germany. So I don't think it's actually that unfair a comparison, to be fair to it.
Yeah, but is that really what people are complaining about when they complain about Nazis? Because I think most of the time
a lot of people
think about
putting
people in gas chambers.
Yeah, but people think about how the Nazis ended up, but you also got to pay attention to how the Nazis got started in the first place, right? And that's the parallels being drawn, not from the fact that they're left wing. Do you know what I mean? It's to do with how the tactics of how you take power, and that there is a lot of that happening. And it's and so I obviously I'm not advocating going out with our bows and arrows like Arwen wants to, but I understand the sentiment where he's coming from.
I just understand, but he did say specifically they're worse than Nazi Germany. So that's what I'm saying. You make the comparison of what the worst the Nazis did, and then you comparison of what these protesters are doing, and what you're saying is right though. It could be true that they're their rise to power is somewhat similar, and their tactics maybe somewhat similar. But the worst of the Nazis
The policies are
I don't
similar.
think we're seeing
Their ideas are similar. Well, give them a chance. Let them take power then and see what happens. give them an army. See, try to, you know, take your chances.
All right. Well, on that bright note, Mark Steele, the weapons expert that accidentally shot someone, guest starred on the ever-benevolent Roxanne show this week, where he shared some shocking information. Be careful, this could put you off bacon for life.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us. To those of you that are watching that know what Mark's been doing, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Mark, can you give us a synopsis of what it is you're doing and what it is you're about, please?
Well, how I got involved with this, I've been in business for quite a number of years, and I know it's going to sound absolutely crazy. The local authority fitted new LED streetlights. Now, obviously, I understand some of the frequencies from LEDs can be pretty toxic. And unfortunately, the LED streetlights they did fit were a 450 nanometers frequency, and they'll kill all pollinators. But what was absolutely more appalling, we had a lot of people, a lot of children in particular in the gated area started having nosebleeds, women, people getting skin burn, basically radiation burns. And one lady in particular directed me to the fact that this has all started when the LED streetlights had been fitted. My background's weapons systems products, and the reason for that is I build a number, and I've got a number of patents. I've got about 20 patents for head-up display systems. These are mitigating technologies for this particular weapon on the battlefield, namely direct energy weapons. So when I eventually got my hands on one of these antennas, I realized that what it was a high gain with a dielectric lens. Now that high gain antenna with a dielectric lens focuses the radiation, so it allows me to actually direct energy at a target. All I have to do is hit a person with it, and that would be a direct energy weapon. So that's what these are. You know, people find it unbelievable. Unfortunately, the equipment that the council fitted killed nearly 20 near full-term fetuses in the area in 2017. We had children bleeding from the nose. We had children getting heart cancers and dying. So there was a number of deaths. There was a number of people getting strokes, quite a number of people, significant increase in sickness and ill health across the area. We also had a total collapse in the insect population and a lot of the small birds. Most of the sparrows are gone now. We don't see any birds. We see big birds, still got crows, magpies, pigeons, but all the small birds have basically just been killed off. So the equipment, and obviously if you measure the radiation on the streets, it's pretty high. If you measure it in people's bedrooms, it's significantly higher. We were warning people, especially pregnant women, to sleep downstairs until we could get this stopped. I can show in any court that what the councils have done, this is all councils across the country, they're part of a UN Resilient Cities agenda. Now by 2030, zero carbon, your carbon. They're actually telling you they want you dead. I've got an intelligence document that shows me that the population of the United Kingdom by 2025 will be less than 15 million. The only way you can occasion that is by killing off a large portion of the population. If I give you that that vaccination, you then become an antenna. So it allows me not only just to be able to see you, but I can target you a little bit more easily. Because currently as a biological structure, without those metal particulates, you're very difficult to see for the weapon. The other issue about the contaminated vaccine, the vaccine's got gene editing technology. So that vaccine will change your DNA antenna. It'll change the DNA. So it allows me quickly, not only just to be able to see. It has pig cell line, monkey cell line, lots of horrible pathogens in there, dead baby fetus, lots of nasties. And once it enters your DNA, it'll change your DNA. Now, the reason why they need to do that, it's so that you then become a chimera. And once you're a chimera, you're not covered under the law. See, because the whole British judicial system is based on God's law. God's law was actually for man and woman. It's not for pigs or animals. You know, they basically aren't within that field. So consequently, if I turn you into a chimera and then I kill you, there's no universal sanction. So that's really what's going on, and that's unbelievable. People will find great difficulty. That's why I always tell people, don't take my word for it, do your own research. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn people into pigs and they're going to kill them. So people have to really be mindful. You fight for your life, but you're also fighting for your soul, because if you get that vaccination and you're not the creator's creation, believe us, where's your soul going to go? So they've got a very sophisticated. I mean, we're talking about demons here, you know, we're talking about devils. We're not talking about normal human beings. I've spoken about this for quite a number of years. I mean, in 2000.
So that was Mark Steele telling us all that we're going to be turned into pigs by a vaccination.
Chimeras. I love that, chimera.
I wonder what our resident doctor has to say about this. Verbal.
It's very sad to hear that someone like him gets platformed by these people. I mean, clearly we eat pigs. Some people in other parts of the world eat monkeys as well. And when you eat them, you also, digest their DNA and everything that you eat. Our bodies have mechanisms to prevent foreign DNA from just going into the cell and taking over. It's our immune system's like self-defense mechanism. It's kind of ridiculous that he thinks that that's something that we're doing. The vaccines they are making for the coronavirus, while this is a new technology, it's meant to be a mimic of the RNA in your immune cells that will make antibodies against the coronavirus. It has a half-life, it lives and it dies, and then it's gone. It's not something that's going to infect your DNA.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've heard them making this sort of, it's going to change your DNA claim a lot. They made it on the COVID Lighthearted. She was talking about you needing an update once a week. And this sort of I don't know how they're going to vaccinate 65 million people a week. But
have you not seen the thing they're trying to push through, Jim?
Oh, God.
They want to be. They want to. So they want to. So a nurse friend of mine from Australia, she hates conspiracies. She sent me this thing saying to sign it that there's a bill. There was a consultation, but they didn't tell anyone about it on the gov.uk. And I read it, and it does say they want to be able to put out unlicensed vaccines and have people who aren't medically trained give them.
Right.
So that's how they would be able to give out so many. Do you know what I mean? Is that they don't want medically trained. They want to be able to have non-medically trained people do it. So it was a bit shocking that they did it. I'm not very happy. I don't think anyone's very happy with the government right now. But
well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess if the idea is that they've got to vaccinate a lot of people, then I mean, you don't necessarily have to be medically trained to know how to give a vaccination, right?
Well, you got to know where to stick the needle on the body and how to handle any kind of side effect, right?
Right.
If someone goes into anaphylactic shock, you better know what to do if you're giving the vaccine.
I guess so, yeah.
I think
Have
this
you
is
guys
why
heard
the nurses are really upset about it. They don't.
It doesn't sound like a great idea.
They took her job.
Did you download the NHS track and trace app, Kat?
No.
What is that?
Wow.
No,
Did you, Jim?
No, I did not.
Good work.
No, I did not.
Doesn't work anyway, so.
I'm afraid. I looked at the text for a moment, thought about it, and then I thought, no, I'm not giving that lot access to my data.
No, I wouldn't get that if I was you.
Verbal's probably disgusted in me. What do you think, Verbal? Track and trace apps?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not entirely familiar with them. I'm not going to lie, but Supposedly, they have been used in certain places to tell you if you've been around someone who is infected with the COVID-19 virus.
That's right. If somebody has a test and shows positive, or starts showing symptoms and has a test and shows positive, they're able to look back at all the people that they've come into contact with, and then they use the app to contact those people and tell them to self-isolate for 7 days.
I mean, people should be allowed to choose if they want to participate in that. If some people, I imagine, would want to know that information, but it's always going to be limited. I don't think you should enforce everyone to do it.
Right.
Just like I don't think you should force everyone to get vaccinated.
Yeah, I don't think it's not. I mean, it's not mandatory, is it? They're encouraging you to get this app, but
sounds like they're doing a poor job.
Well,
I didn't convince you or Kat.
They only released it this week. They had. I saw a report today that said they'd had 10 million downloads. So I think that is pretty successful in the first week. But there's only 65 million people live here, and presumably, I mean, all the kids and some of the old people are not going to have, a cell phone account to download it to, are they? So I don't know what's left after that, but let's say 40 million people.
It doesn't work anyway. It's just been scaring everyone.
Yeah, apparently there's loads of problems with it, somebody said.
Apparently it's just...
I don't really know what the problems are. I just heard there were problems with it. But that's what I imagine is going to happen. That within a fortnight, the entire country will be on 7-day isolation because everyone will have come into contact with someone.
You are now supposed to isolate for 7 days.
Sorry?
I said, have you been to the UK recently? Oh, you live there? Well, you need to isolate for 7 days.
Right.
Yeah.
That
is the kind of stuff that's going on.
Yeah, that is pretty much it.
Have you guys heard about this is what Jake brought up earlier in the server? He said that in China, and he posted if it's from Wall Street Journal, he posted that in China they have already given out hundreds of thousands of vaccines to Chinese people. It's not really covered in a lot of places in the news, so I don't know if you'd heard about that, VD, or anybody else.
Yeah, I saw that article that he posted.
So is it true? I mean, is it true that they have a vaccine and they're using it and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it looks like they're distributing a vaccine. Or maybe it's a placebo. I mean, I don't know what's in it.
Maybe Jeremy would be very excited to hear that they're testing it on their prison population.
Oh, jeez. That's not good.
I guess one thing I didn't mention with our Track and Trace app, if you get told to self-isolate, you get 500 quid.
What? That's why everyone's downloading it.
yeah.
Don't you have to actually do the isolation to get the 500?
I'm not really sure. It says they send you
that's not a bad
£500 to
incentive.
help you with the self-isolation. I think that is kind of a bit of an incentive because I might get lucky.
Just leave your phone at home during that week.
But then you can't go out and work for those 5 or 7 days or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But, I get paid for sitting around. So, get paid to
get free McDonald's delivery as well. And then it's all good. That'd be excellent. Free Big Mac. With free coronavirus.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I will. My son thought he had it, and when I saw the link, I thought, "Oh no, it's because of that." But he was tested, and he even though he had all the symptoms, loss of taste and smell, and felt terrible, said he'd never felt as bad as this, had a cough, all of that, had the test, and it was negative.
But you know what? From my experience with people, because my miss works in a pub and they all generally get tested and whatever. If one of them got it recently, and what I'm seeing is a lot is that they do the wrong test, or like they're just having people. You know what I mean? They are sort of having because their area manager came down and tested them. He's not like medically trained, and he did like an antibody test on them. And then when they looked it up, they found out it wouldn't have told them if they all had corona right now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was, you know, so it came back negative for everyone. Now they're all scared again. So it does seem a bit of a shit show. But I don't know. Like, obviously, that probably wasn't government run. That, so I don't know.
Well,
Who knows?
here in
Who knows with
Cleveland,
these tests?
they did a study comparing if a nurse or a doctor did the test versus if the patient did a test for themselves, and their results show that there's probably no difference.
Right.
If you do the test appropriately to yourself, it's the same as someone else doing it to you.
Interesting.
But you got to do the right test, right, as well, because you got to do that. Is it the antibody test, and then
for them, it's just, if you can stick the Q-tip thing in your nose, there's no need to have
Right.
someone else do it for you.
Shall I have
How
another
deep
clip?
do you have to go?
Oh, sorry, Kurt. Go ahead.
I can stick a Q-tip in my nose, but I can't like go back inside and shove it up. You know what I mean? Like past whatever's there to get to the back of your throat or some crap. I don't even know where that goes.
You just push the Q-tip in until you get to the line, and then you wiggle it around for like 10 seconds.
Well, how
That's
far
it. You
back?
pull it out, and you put it in the little specimen tube.
But how far back does it go? Like really far back?
It's probably somewhere between 4 to 5 inches.
Oh no. I'm going like 3/4 an inch to that part where it hits something, and beyond that, forget it. No, that's what happened to that chick in Scarface with the Coke straw. When he smacked the back of her head down, jammed it right through her brain. I'm not playing that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a Coke straw though, curved.
I don't want to swab my brain, dude.
It's not your brain.
How do
If your brain's in your nose.
It's like, it feels like my brain.
How do you know? I mean, I could make a mistake.
I know anatomy.
Trained medical professionals make mistakes that cost people their lives. You know,
Yeah.
I'm likely to.
I don't think anyone has died from the nasal swab. Maybe you can fact check us for that.
Well, not by pros, but self-administered. You think Arwen could survive that?
Yeah. And if not, they'd probably be doing the world a favor, right?
Well,
that's terrible to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to sound like him.
That was
man.
pretty good.
I should have read out a super chat from Brian Peck, which said, verbal, that idiot thinks 5G causes what? MI5C. MI? I don't know what that says. Also thinks a monopole antenna is a weapon.
Okay. I just want to comment on them testing stuff on prisoners. As long as it's optional, that's fine.
Excellent.
I guess so. I guess so.
Are you
I'm sure-
offering?
I'm sure the Chinese government has the option to opt into that for their prisoners.
Yeah, they volunteered all of them for it.
They all volunteered. That's great.
Shall we have another clip?
Yeah, go
I
on.
think we should.
I'd rather
We've
you
got a
read
bit-
out another super chat.
What?
Too much medical stuff.
I'd rather you read out another super chat.
Well, we don't have one. I should probably,
Well,
I probably
get
do
on
that
it,
one again
people.
and make a better job of it.
Yeah, come on. You guys get with the program here. Give Jim something to read.
Yeah. Yeah, give me something to forget to read and read totally in the wrong place, inappropriately. All right, Riley has also appeared on Roxanne's show. As always, the Flat Earth Legal Eagle was there to offer his sound legal advice to all protest attendees.
Fundamentally, principally, you could end up face to face with a shield and a tear gas and a baton, and obviously we want to know what to do, because we know what the government's going to do. The police are going to turn on the people and blame the people.
Yeah.
So let's do screen share. This notice has been I don't know whether it's been served right this second as I speak, but I believe it's imminently going to be served. So it's written as though it's been served, because this is to be used at the weekend. Lots of them are going to be printed out. The crowd are going to get copies, and the idea is that you pass them to police. If the police turn up with riot shields and masks and smoke bombs and horses and treating you like hooligans, you hand this to the police at the earliest available opportunity, and we're going to rely on somebody on the megaphone, speakerphone, walkie-talkie thing, to tell the police this. And this is basically it. Because it's already been served on Gold Command and Silver Command by the weekend, this is telling them that they've got to do something different, because they've got to abide by the law. And we're going to give them the opportunity, we're going to peacefully give them the opportunity to reconsider their position before they do anything else, and let them have the opportunity to put down their shields. We're not going to attack the police. They've got to be the ones that throw the first punch. They will throw the first punch because they need any excuse, because they're trigger happy. We know it. We've seen it this weekend just gone. So the police's oath, this is what's going to be said over the microphone, the megaphone to the police, right? When they turn up and they've got the riot shields on, you can tell that trouble's brewing. Whoever's on the microphones or the walkie-talkies needs to get this message across to them, because it's simple. The police have an oath, like the doctors have a Hippocratic oath. The police have also got an oath. And in that oath, it's quite long, but the key bit is this. Their police oath says that they promise that they will uphold fundamental human rights, that's the bit we're talking about, and accord equal respect to all people. That includes protesters, that's me, you, families, pregnant women, according to law, right? So we're all entitled to be treated equally and respectfully within our human rights. And the fundamental, right? They can't, that's their oath. They've promised that they'll do that. So that's got to be read to them. And then somebody's got to read this to them. Article 11 on the Convention of Human Rights, as appears in the Human Rights Act, it's copied and pasted pretty much. Everyone's got the right to the freedom of peaceful assembly. That means we're all allowed to be there. And the freedom of association with others. That means we're all allowed to be there in groups. No restrictions shall be placed on the exercise of these rights other than such that are prescribed by law, which is the Corona Regs, and are necessary, proportionate, lawful, and necessary in a democratic society. So the guy on the megaphone's got to get those words out. He's got to tell the police that they can't implement these rules because these rules are not necessary in a democratic society. They are not proportionate. They are not lawful. They are not necessary. So then the speaker's got to say something similar to this. This needs rewording slightly. It's been reworded slightly, but anyway, I hereby inform you, the riot police, that your command and control are not acting in accordance with Article 11 of the Human Rights Act of 1998, and I respectfully ask you to reconsider your position and put down your shields, or I will fight you peacefully in court and represent the rights of every man, woman, and child. We are allowed to peacefully protest, and small pockets of intentional disturbances by agents of the state that try to make us look violent does not make us look violent. We are unarmed civilians. And then the chant, choose your side, should be the one. Choose your side, choose your side. Because they've got to put down the shields. They can't turn on the people. Yeah, let them attack us first, then we'll defend ourselves or whatever. Whatever happens on the day, happens on the day. But just remember, on the positive note, in court, we can raise more than enough reasonable doubt that this legislation is unlawful. If we can raise the doubt beyond all reasonable doubt, which is not, that's a high burden for them to satisfy. We can show that they can't satisfy that in a court because our human rights are being violated, and they can't satisfy those three words, that 3-word test, necessary, proportionate, and lawful. They can't satisfy it. So nobody's going to be getting punished. So don't be scared of being arrested. Don't be scared of even getting prosecuted. There are people out there that will come forward after seeing this and passing it around to different people. There will be lawyers that come out that can represent you, because every single lawyer gets taught basic human rights and they know how to deal with it. Whether or not they'll come forward right now or not, I don't know. But once this becomes a pandemic situation with our rights, from our rights perspective, then they will do. So you won't be getting arrested, and if you do get arrested, you won't be getting prosecuted. And if you do get prosecuted, don't worry, that we can deal with it, because what they're doing is tyrant, it's fascist, it's tyrannical. We're living in a tyranny, guys. It's not meant to be this way, but we are. And tactically, it's worth pointing out, put all the mothers and children at the front line, because the truncheons, when they get drawn, they're not going to attack women and children. blokes at the back, or 2 or 3 back, women and children at the front, because they won't attack children. And if they do, the army's there to stop it. They're on our side, the army. The police aren't. The police are doing what they're told because they think that that's okay. Well, that's what happened in World War II, isn't it, with the Nazi army? They acted as though it was their job and that was therefore okay. That's not okay. The human rights, even though it might be a job, still you got to work within the law.
That was Riley giving out some fabulous legal advice there.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Look, the guy with the cap next to Roxanne, yeah, he's just on so many drugs. It's just like he didn't even move for like, I swear, 5 minutes. He didn't even blink. It was absolutely amazing.
I want to make sure I heard him correct though. At the end there, he said his advice was to go up against the police and put the women and children in front,
right,
of this battalion against the police.
Yes, yeah. If they get violent,
he is such a grifter, man.
Are there even children at this thing?
Yeah, there will be.
There are a
but,
few.
I mean,
many,
nobody's stupid enough to put them.
Yeah, so that
But
was.
yeah, the point is, you can't fight the police no matter. Oh, sorry, I think I'm laggy. You can't fight the police no matter what. Like, there is no, like, you sort of saying that, oh yeah, well, sort of if they start fighting or what. No, you just got to be. You've got to be arrested. Do you know what I mean? You can protest, but if you're in the way, they're going to hit you with like a million different things. Like you were disturbing the peace, you were blocking the road, you this or that.
Right.
There's so many things that you have the right to arrest you.
Right.
It's ridiculous to think.
What?
So yeah.
Why not just throw the women and children in front? I mean, that should be a good strategy, right?
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Just put the women and children first, because most likely the weapons are not going to hurt them, or most likely they won't hit the kid. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and the fact that he said that out loud and no one's like, wait a minute, you giving that
That's
advice?
what a real hero would do. Throw the women and children out front.
It sounded
That's what
like
a sleeping warrior would do.
it reminded me of when you're a kid and you're going to play cowboys and Indians, and you're sort of making the plan beforehand of what you're going to do. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It had that sort of a ring to it, didn't it? And he just didn't seem to have any idea of what it's actually like in that. I mean, I've not been to loads of protests, but I have been at 1 or 2 in my years, and you don't get to sort of organize people and in the way that he was describing. It's chaos, violent chaos.
Yeah, but you know what? It only takes a few people to set these sort of things off, like, because there was a lot of people down that went this weekend, but also like quite a lot of police officers were injured as well, which is unacceptable. I think like 20 police officers were injured.
Right.
So like, and there is people listening to Riley. Like I was telling you, just as you messaged me, I was watching a call-in show. Alex Belfield, the voice of reason. I highly recommend it. And he had like 5,500 views on YouTube at the time. And he called in. I nearly spat my wine out. And he was going on all about this legal stuff, and he was loving it. The host was loving it. Everyone in the chat was loving it. It's quite scary how, do you know what I mean, influential he could be if he's in the right place at the right time. I think it's quite scary, the thought of that.
I have to say, in a sense, I don't, of all the sort of legal arguments I've heard him make, I think this one is probably the most reasonable.
Yeah, but in that talky bit, where he's like, it sort of sounds reasonable at the first, the script. Yeah, you're not acting, please. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll fight you in court. And then it's like waffling on. We're not violent, blah, blah, blah.
Right, but I mean, all of that is complete bullshit. I don't mean that, but his actual legal argument, I don't know whether we saw enough of it there, but he does make this argument based on the law, saying that because in the law, I think it's the Human Rights Act, it says you have the right to protest and freedom of assembly and this sort of thing. And then it says, there's a sort of proviso with it that, as long as it's sort of, in the interest of the safety of the country or something like, I can't remember the exact wording. But then it says that any restriction has to be proportionate, and there's 2 other words that he centers on. I can't remember what. And he argues that it's not proportionate and it's not reasonable, and I can't remember what the other word is. So, and I think you can make an argument for that. I think you could.
I'm kind of with him, but I don't trust him. Do you know what I mean? First of all, he gets everything wrong.
Right.
Something he's got majorly wrong.
Definitely don't trust his legal opinion.
Yeah.
No. He's a real lawyer.
It's a statistical certainty that something he's got completely wrong here. But I do appreciate what he's trying to do, but because he's doing it for the wrong reasons, because we know him, do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just dangerous, sort of whipping people up at a time like this.
Right, and all the notices to the police, and I mean, that's just bollocks. Forget about that. You know, if you're in the sort of situation that he's describing, you haven't got a chance to hand them or read them a notice. You know.
No, but he was saying that wants the chant. He wants that chant, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Choose your
Riley
side.
Choose ate the pies or whatever. Yeah. Riley ate the pies. Riley ate the pies. That'd be epic. Everyone trying that. But that's never going to happen. But yeah, so he wants his little moment. He's like a grifter, like everyone else is taking advantage of the situation, like he always does. You know what I mean? And he just wants a bit of fame. And I'm just worried because it's quite effective. If you'd seen what I saw just before I came on here, with thousands of people all cheering him on, kind of in a side chat. It was a big show. It was scary.
Oh dear. Well, let's hope he doesn't manage to influence too many people.
How many thousands of people do you think are watching us right now?
88 people, not thousands.
Oh, I was going to say that's really good.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy to think that anybody. I agree with what you said, Jem, but I don't think it was because I looked a little bit at that Human Rights Act that you guys have,
right.
And I think, I mean, highlighting that it exists and saying where this could be appropriate in certain circumstances, I think is appropriate. But everything else that he's saying, and like I said, compared to everything else that he's brought up legally, it's probably the one that is the least ridiculous, right. But everything else that he's saying is completely ridiculous.
Yeah,
so.
The notice is all ridiculous and all his tactics for dealing with the protest. Because what happened was he actually went to this protest in Liverpool, and he uploaded a video earlier today with his sort of rundown of it. And at the beginning of the video, he said, I've decided I'm not actually going to take part in the protest. I'm going to observe the actions of the police from a distance. so after he's put the women and children on the front line of against riot police, he's just going to stand back and film it.
He's living up to his name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think of the women and children, won't you?
And the turnout at that protest was just pathetic. It was almost no one there. But that was
2 women and 2 children.
A Save Our Children one, that one was.
Yeah, that really goes with his message then. His message of put the kids in the front. You got a super chat.
I did indeed. From, God, why can't I see this orange? Is that Natty Ice? Thank you very much for the super chat. Jem, here is something to read. Thank you so much for that. It hasn't come up on my OBS for some reason. That's weird. I guess it will eventually. It will find it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, because I noticed this in the last clip also. Is like his backdrop is like so pretentious. I don't know what the hell. He's got like this.
Oh, there it is. It's arrived
behind him.
Yeah, he's got holes for his laws there, hasn't he? That's his sort of favourite thing, isn't it?
I assumed he was trying to do, that thing that people do on their podcasts to make them look clever, and they put like a library behind them, like Steve McRae or someone like that.
Right, yeah.
He's trying to do that and just fuck the zoom up, and it's just like crazy.
The creationists always have a bookshelf.
Yeah, some sort of...
always.
Now, can I ask, how many legal cases has Sleeping Warrior won?
I think he did win one.
I think he did win. He sued his missus, didn't he? He's got like...
Oh, I didn't think he won that. But he did win one with the council, didn't he? Where he sued basically they wanted council tax. I think him and his missus had inherited a house when somebody died, and when you inherit a house like that, you get a break on the council tax. You don't have to pay the council tax, I think, for 6 months or something. And they hadn't paid the council tax, I think, for 18 months or something like that. And the council wanted all of that council tax off them. And he went to court and argued that, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, that at some point they didn't actually own the house, or I can't remember. But as always with Riley, it boiled down to a single word in the law. But this time he pulled it off, I believe. That's my understanding of it, anyway.
Impressive. More credentials than most flat earthers.
But he's lost.
I heard he took his missus for every penny she had. I felt bad for her.
Well, I thought what I heard was he was suing her for the value of a van or a minibus or something.
Right.
But I heard he had lost that one.
He sued his wife?
Well, it was his ex.
I don't know if that's true. I'm kind of joking.
I think most men would like to sue their ex-wives for something.
Yeah, well,
his ex-wife.
I would. But, you know, what can you do? Ultimately, you're suing your kids, aren't you?
Well, he got a W then, didn't he, Jeremy? It's a W for the books.
Well, speaking of demonstrations, yesterday saw a number of them going off in the UK, including a huge one in Trafalgar Square, in part organised and promoted by our own COVID lighthearted and starring none other than Conspiritardia King David Icke. Let's take a look.
Let's give some respect to a man of truth, Mr. David Icke!
Yeah! David! David!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
David!
To think that people used to laugh at me in the street.
Yes!
Speak your truth and the world comes to you.
Oh, yes.
Whoa! What a sight! I have dreamed of moments like this so many times and despaired here and there that they would ever come, and here it is. Humanity awakens!
Share us out there, guys.
No, it's not the majority yet, nor even nearly so. But the momentum has begun, and the spirit of this place must sweep across the world if we are to stop Orwell's boot stamping on the human face forever.
officers back! Back! What are you doing? Why are you hitting people? Nobody is getting Shame on you! 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 Move back! Move back! Move back! Move back! Move back! Stop trying to fight my colleague! What the fuck are you doing? Go away! It's a woman! It's a fucking woman! It's a woman! You have my... 1, 2, 1, forward! Forward! Help me! Help me! Help!
So they seized the sound equipment there, you saw right at the end there. And that was the protest in Trafalgar Square. It was rough stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's.
Oh dear.
I was going to ask you.
That's why we have the best police in the world, though, because we that's our kind of police. Like, a few little slaps here and there.
Little slaps.
A lot of bravado.
You see the old lady they put out.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, like, our police were backing off half of that. They weren't exactly taking control.
Well,
I was
if only they put the women and children first.
Yeah, I didn't see too many notices being handed out.
Stole my joke. No, but yeah, man. But no, but Kat, I was going to ask you because I asked Jem this question earlier. He said that this wasn't. This protest wasn't displayed on the BBC? Is that right, Jem?
Yeah, well, I couldn't see anything on the BBC website about this at all. I missed the news yesterday, so I can't say for sure that it wasn't on there. But, you know, usually if it's on the news, there'll be a report on the website as well. And I couldn't see it at all on the website. They mentioned the Newcastle one. There's a little report on that. But this is not mentioned at all. And you could see there was, I think, probably, I don't know, 40,000 people there in Trafalgar Square. You know, multiple arrests, injured police, injured public in Trafalgar Square, in the centre of our capital city, and that isn't worth a mention on the BBC. There's something wrong there.
It's a new world order.
Well, ultimately, although I don't agree with anything these people are saying, I disagree with them vehemently on everything, but I still support their right to say it. And I think and I think something like this should be reported on. I think the BBC is deciding for us now what what is best for us to see, not what is news, but what it thinks we ought to watch, and stopping us from seeing things that it thinks we don't ought to watch.
That is their open opinion as well. That isn't you just thinking that. They say that the head of Channel 4 News, she definitely said that it's their job to decide what the people, the truth kind of thing, what the people need to see, because people can't decide for themselves. So that's their opinion. But I agree with you. I don't agree with like half of them. There's a lot of flatties there or whatever. I agree with some things. I don't agree with David Icke on a lot of things, but I do sort of see his sort of worldview. I don't like disrespect David Icke. I know a lot of you just think he's completely mad. I just think he's semi-mad.
Someone saying it's on the BBC website. Well, I couldn't see it. I was looking all over it today, and I couldn't
If you
see it.
click on, I think, UK and England, I think they have. I mean, I saw a link about the protest, and it was yesterday, correct? Not today.
Right.
I saw an article, not about the Newcastle one, because that's separate, but the one in downtown London. It wasn't a very lengthy article. It was like maybe 3 paragraphs and some pictures.
Right. I couldn't see anything.
Where's that
I saw the one on Newcastle, but I couldn't see anything for Trafalgar Square.
The one in Newcastle was smaller. They put more details for that protest than for the larger one. Seems backwards.
Yeah, COVID clashes as police shut down protests over new rules. I think that might be the Newcastle one, though. You should check to see if that's the Newcastle one.
Anyway,
But before everyone decides that I'm completely wrong, make sure you've looked at the article and it is referring to London and not Newcastle, please.
They're not the same thing? Like New York and the Bronx?
Because they're all jumping to, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
No, but yeah, the BBC are terrible, Jem. You're
just be
completely
sure,
right.
because I think you're talking about the Newcastle one. So anyway, yeah, I think the reason they shut down they went in on that protest was because they'd allowed the protest to happen. The guy who organised it, who was on the microphone, the one who introduced Ike, had said that they'd been liaising with the police, and it was that it'd been very good relationship, and they'd helped them all week, and all this sort of thing. So he sent me the link to that. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like this is the London one, so maybe I did miss it somehow. There's no video. There's no video. It's just a photo and some.
Yeah, it's on the subsection of the UK titled England.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
There is a video.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what
the things I saw in that. The things I saw in that video just now. There was a little old lady on the ground. There was tons of cops around. They didn't even help her up or anything. It's despicable.
Riley,
I'll let the BBC off then. They've given it some coverage at least. But anyway, yeah. So I think the reason they shut the protest down was because they didn't. When you do one of these protests, you have to do a risk assessment, and they said they were no longer being compliant with this risk assessment, and so they had to stop it. But I think it probably would have been a lot easier if they just let people go home. I think it had pretty much finished once Ike had been on. It was pretty much over anyway. So I think just leave them to it. Just let everyone go home. They would have done. But the police kind of waltzed in there and made a big deal of it. And I don't know. I think they feel like they need to show strength sometimes.
Well, sometimes I feel bad for the police too, even because it's not. I mean, I'm not sure if all of them disagree with the fact that they are protesting, or if they're disagreeing with what they're even saying. It's kind of just their job to break. Like somebody told them to break it up. Basically, somebody told them to get in there.
Right.
So it's like I'm sure that they don't want to be there as much as those people want them there. So.
Yes. So, well, anyway, let's have another clip. An associated clip, we should say. The British government expects its subjects to comply, and when they don't, it locks them up. Take a look at this week's Arrest Fest.
You are acting medical. Tell me what Jeff, you got his number. You need to get him down wherever. You need to tell him whether you're being aggressive.
Can you call Richard, Jeff? Thanks.
You're telling him. I know, I heard you.
I'm not going to tell you again, mate. Move out of the way. Can I have a word with you a second? Is it Jeff, is it? Jeff, can we stand over here? My name's not Jeff. She's calling you Jeff. I'm not Jeff.
Hello, my name is Hackett. I'm a medical doctor from Germany, and I'm one of the founders of Doctors for the Truth, Ärzte für Aufklärung, and plus I'm a co-founder of their Extra Parliamentary Inquiry Committee on COVID-19. So this is an association of more than 1,000 medical doctors around the world, and together we are saying the measures of the government regarding COVID-19 are absolutely inappropriate.
Were you? I'm so interested to meet you. Somebody said you were going to be here. Germany's reaction and the protest in Berlin. Apparently, there were 850,000 people there. Is that right? What's the situation like in Germany right now in terms of public opinion?
Well, I think it's more or less it's the same like in Britain, because the mass media and the government, they dominated, of course, the scene. But, we have a very strong peace movement in Germany. And, as you know, we had this experience in the 1930s and the 1940s. So a lot of people are aware of these things, what's going on, when the stories that are told by the governments and by the oligarchs are just not true. And we as medical doctors, we see that, we have no medical pandemic. Yeah, that's a good message, that we do not see any killer virus. And this is the plain data that shows us. So we need to stand up.
It's very important I start asking this question. What is going on? Why is this happening?
Well, we just see from the plain data, from the facts, it's not a medical pandemic, it's a political thing. And if we look in the world what happened, in 2008 there was this big financial crash. Yeah? So in the financial system that dominates the world crashed down. And it was obviously who are the perpetrators. It was the banks and the private owners. And of course I wanted to reset the system, make a great reset. But 2008, this crash was clear who were the perpetrators. And so what they did they fix it? No. They just put more money into their system. They tripled and doubled the amount of money, and they bought time up to 2020. And now they are planning openly. You can see it on worldeconomicforum.gov. They're planning the Great Reset. And it looks like that a virus is the one to blame for. Well, you just need to count 1 + 1 is 2. Use your common sense.
Thank you very much. Can you just remind us again who you are, and as for the audience? You can see already we've got 1.3 thousand watching live already.
Yes, again, my name is Heike Schöning. I'm a medical doctor, and I'm one of their founders of the Extra Parliamentary Inquiry Committee. So this is a committee that was established by citizens because their parliaments in Germany didn't do this in this severe situation. And we gathered all the facts together and we displayed them on our website. It's acu2020.org, as well in English and 9 other languages. You can get these evidence. Plus, colleagues of mine published a book with all the medical and scientific evidence. It's called COVID-19 False Alarm. And this book was on the #1 list of books in Germany.
This is a disgrace. Anything to say, sir? Get out of the road for me, please. Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir. Way round. Thank you. Thank you very much. Get out of the road.
Well, I'm not going to say if you want to be something that offends, you can be asked to leave the area.
On what law?
The public health regulations in relation to COVID regulations.
The regulations not a law. Under 2006, well, hang on a minute. Under 2006 Terrorism Act, you are a terrorist. I do not understand. Do you understand this? Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Choose your side! Choose your side!
Maxine's been arrested for nothing.
I respectfully ask you to reconsider your position. COVID regulations is a civil matter. It's a civil matter. Gold Command and Silver Command have already been served. You need to seek legal advice from ACPO, the Association of Chiefs of Police. I have not written about them anymore, so I do not wish to contact you. I do not answer questions. I do not answer questions.
Are you going to give us your demonstration? Would you rather talk privately?
I do not answer questions, and I do not wish to contact you.
What people are doing. Hang on. Hang on a sec. Can you give us the actual? Can you give us the actual law?
You do not have to say anything, but no harm your defence if you do not mention
Don't
when
push
questions.
me!
Hang on, calm down. Calm down.
This is what you call kidnapping.
I'll fully explain to them. I've given ample opportunity. We don't have to take things to that level. Trying to last month, I've given you a full explanation from beginning to end over a period of time now. So now this is your security. If not, you will render yourself liable to arrest. You will be arrested.
Officer,
Do you understand that?
I do not stand under it, so I do not
Right, so this is right. I've gone through this nth degree now. So now, right. So I've gone through it and the whole time. We've got a massive audience here. I don't want you to try and sort of divert this into some kind of public forum. It's not fair.
You've done nothing wrong, though, officer.
Right, okay. Right, well, you are being detained, so you're now under arrest. You don't have to say this is harassment. You can't defend if you don't mention custody. Anything you do, so you're giving it everything. You are now under arrest.
You have to say the law. You have to say what law she's broken before you arrest her. What law?
Yeah, so that was everyone getting arrested a lot.
So now we've seen what happens when Riley's advice of putting women in front of the cops doesn't work out. Now we've seen kids. Although I don't know how old that lady was.
She almost said, I think her name's Lucy, that COVID lighthearted lady. I think she almost said that notice that he'd got. Because she was going on about gold and silver command and this sort of thing. So, I don't know. I think she was, maybe she'd seen it, was trying to remember it and hadn't quite got it right. I don't know.
Hey, you told me earlier about the German. I'm sorry, I didn't know if somebody was going to respond to that. But you said earlier that German dude. You told me earlier that there was another clip that was that somebody else had posted that got taken down about him
Yeah,
being arrested.
The clip I had there of him being interviewed was from a channel called Anna Brees, and Anna Brees is a ex-TV news reporter who's sort of gone rogue and is championing. Why can't I say that word? Championing independent journalism, what she calls new media as opposed to old media. And quite an interesting character. But anyway, she she interviewed him as he was, or she had on her channel, she had an interview with him as he was released from the police station. And that video was taken down almost as soon as it went up.
Okay.
So I don't know what trouble I'm going to be in for showing that clip of him. But
well, I'm curious what he was arrested for.
Well, where we saw him being interviewed was in Trafalgar Square, but he was arrested in Hyde Park. So he'd gone to that protest as well. And I think they just arrested speakers, I think, because they also arrested, I didn't include there because I didn't spot it till the last minute, was Piers Corbyn, who we've seen a few times before. And he was there and he was arrested as well. And I believe, I haven't seen video of it, because again, that got taken down when it was live, but I believe Roxanne was on stage at one point. I think I'm right in saying that.
No arrest for her?
I don't think so. At least
she's benevolent. How could you arrest her?
Well, hey, what about the other special guest appearance behind the German doctor? Did anybody notice who was there?
Oh, no, who was there?
Flat Earth celebrity Lisa 2.0.
Oh, really?
Who's that?
Yeah, Lisa the poet.
Yes.
From Globe.
Yeah, she was, yeah. Yeah, because, of course, the COVID Light Tour people were on stage there. They were sort of the warm-up act, if you like. And they interviewed them and stuff on stage. So I don't think she read out one of her endless fucking poems. But, oh, my God, they just go on and on and on forever. They really like poetry at these events. I don't know why, but there's always a poet there these days.
I can think of a few reasons.
So, this doctor, all I see about him is his arrest. He is not actually a professor anywhere. It doesn't look like he teaches or publishes anything. The only thing that his name comes up with on Google, at least in like the 6 or 7 pages I've looked at, is him being arrested.
I know, but
he's talking about coronavirus being fake.
Not verbal. He seemed like a nice chap. He had a lovely suit on, and I really like the way he said no.
We didn't see what he said and did that led up to it. So just like it's jumping to answers before what is that kid who shot people in, was it Michigan or Wisconsin or whatever? Like, it was presumptive to jump to a conclusion without seeing everything. It's presumptive to say that he's innocent or guilty at this time of anything, because we don't know what he said and what he did.
Oh well, I mean, they'll have arrested him for breaking some COVID regulation, won't they? For being in a group of more than 6, or
maybe
for organising the protest or whatever it may be. So they'll have arrested him for one of those things, and he's probably, I don't know. I mean, certainly. What's her name? Kate Shimarani, I think, has definitely been issued a fine. I think they've got quite tough with her. They were saying that she's not going to be appearing at any more events or anything like that. So I think they managed to
hit him in the pocketbook where it hurts. Take their money away. It's a very strong motivator.
It's a £10,000 fine for
yeah.
Oh wow.
Right.
But is there any precedence to think that maybe they were arrested as possibly the organizers of this event, even though they may not have organized it, but kind of just as the
Kate Shimarani and what's the other girl? I think she's called Fiona Diamond. I think that's her name. They were something Diamond anyway. They were they were the first ones that we saw arrested outside Parliament. Sorry, what was your question? Sorry, mate, I've had a drink.
No, I was curious if there was precedence to think that some of these people, I don't know what she specifically was arrested for, but the people you said, the Corbyn guy and
they were arrested for organising the event last week.
Right. Okay.
The one that happened last week.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. If that was a offense that you can be charged with, I guess.
But again, the police are doing this thing where they're accepting these risk assessments for these protests, and then, waiting for it to be broken and then walking in and, you know, sort of clearing everyone away. And I don't know, I'd love to know what bit of the risk assessment it was that they broke. I'm thinking there are probably just too many people there.
Yeah, simply, yeah. I'm you know, it's really a bad time to do it. I mean, protesting is always I'm not against protesting at all by any means, but it's just really a bad time to choose to have these kind of events because of COVID and the social distancing. And you know, the CDC here last week just changed their what they said about it, because before it used to be like I think they said up 6 feet away or about 6 feet away. It's going to be about 6 feet away, but now it says something like more than 6 feet away. So I don't know, it slightly changes it, but yeah, it just seems like it's obviously a bad time to try and gather a bunch of people together to protest really anything. It definitely gives the police a reason, even before anything violent has happened, to shut it down.
The same could have been said for the civil rights marches. That was a bad time to march for your, your right to vote.
The same thing cannot be said. No, the reason is clear that there's social distancing that's supposed to be implemented. So it's there should be, you should find another way to protest. There's plenty of ways to protest.
I agree. There are other ways to protest, and now we know there is a risk that's given by congregating in large groups. So people got to vote with their feet. If you want to boycott some business or something, do that. If you want to go to a march, and people are doing that, but there's going to be conflict that arises. You saw in those videos of the protesters that they're egging on the police, and some of the police are egging on the protesters. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? It doesn't take someone with an IQ higher than Sleeping Warrior to figure out that there's going to be someone who gets injured.
It's funny though how when the police came in, how it changed what was happening. Because I was watching a lot of this stuff live, and there was a lot of people streaming yesterday. There were channels with 4 streams running constantly, and they were switching them round. So they were probably drawing from maybe 10 streams at a time. And you could see before the police arrived, everyone was just standing around. There wasn't really, I think it had kind of finished almost. But it was just a pleasant atmosphere, like you might get at the end of a concert, something like that. And then you heard this woman going, "They're coming, they're coming, they're coming." You could hear her calling out like this. I don't know where she was or what she had seen, but a few seconds later, and just these huge bands of police start arriving, and then all of a sudden it's all chaos and confrontation, and it totally changed the atmosphere of what was going on. And I understand that there are risk assessments, and they've got to, I guess, there's a limit on the numbers that are there. They've got to comply with that, and they have to be, I think Trafalgar Square, I think somebody said, has a capacity of 35,000. So I guess if they judge that it's gone beyond that, then it's no longer safe, I guess, if something goes wrong or
There are
gets sick.
alternative ways to disperse a crowd rather than going in there and confronting them.
Right.
I mean, maybe that wasn't the smartest way to go about that.
Right. Because there was stuff in Hyde Park. There was actually a march that went from the Hyde Park protest to Buckingham Palace, so that they could call them all pedos, I imagine. So they could have just got rid of them that way. They could have said, join us at Hyde Park or join us at Buckingham Palace, and just, if they'd said that over the sound system, they probably would have. Most people probably would have moved on, at least within an hour or two.
Can't the English police just set up some speakers and play some really loud music and drown the crowd out?
Isn't that what they did to the people in Waco? Or they tried to do? Yeah.
Just do that.
So I don't know. I'm kind of into. I mean, I guess you know, from where I'm standing, I don't really know what, you know, what motivated the police to move in at that point. But that obviously there has to be a limit on the number of people who are in there, because what if something goes wrong? What if there's a fire or something like that? How are you gonna get to people to rescue them? You know,
Right.
You know, I guess you've got to think of all those sort of things. And
Just play God Save the Queen on a loop and max volume until everyone leaves. It'll drive them out.
That's fine. Is it? Is there any reason to think that it's possible that maybe they allowed the protest, that they allowed the speakers to speak, and they allowed for a certain amount of time to, for the whole thing to be over, and then once it was over, they were told to maybe go in and disperse them, or is that it? Just does that make sense at all?
It seemed like it had pretty much finished when they went in. It seemed like it had just finished, you know. And they went, right, that's it, get rid of them. So I don't know. Anyway.
No, they should have played Closing Time by Semisonic and just put it on loop.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, back.
Honestly, yeah.
Back to Flattardia for a few minutes now. It seems even the flatties have started to notice that their ship is sinking. Coming up.
It's the end of the line, guys, and yeah, it will be for the show. I've been offered a job, so I've got my first day's training next Friday. So I've got to phone them up on Monday to accept, which I'm going to do. And John, stop making the noise, bloody hell! And so I've got a week more of the show, and then that's it. It's done. No more show, unfortunately.
You'll still do shows, Ranty.
Nah, I don't. No.
It's 10 p.m. now, right?
I don't. Yeah, I can't. It's not gonna work with the job, unfortunately.
You're telling me on the weekend you're not going to be like, hey, I feel like popping on and having a show. I got these thousands of people here. I can get 100 people on at any time. I feel like hanging out.
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. No.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I've given 5 years to this for the cause, and I feel like I just need a clean break now.
Welcome. Sad day today, really, for myself and all flat earthers. It seems like I'm the only one who's taken the path and along the way discovered everything and come to a final conclusion that we as flat earthers have to concede that this model is what has to be used to depict our realm. Earth is not flat though, but for map purposes and whatever, the ball needs to be used as a model. Earth is still flat, but the best way to explain it is using the ball. Geometrically.
Quantum Eraser, the rumor is you are going to retire from Planet Earth and go back to evolution. Whatever that is. That's my emphasis.
Oh, is that what he said? I may have said something similar to that, but there ain't no retiring from Flat Earth. I just want to shift because this topic, flat, non-spinning, domed Earth, is done. Well, it's been done since 2015. I would probably couch it as I'm going to shift my focus a bit back to my roots, sort of in a run home to mama scenario, and focus a little bit more on evolution, because that's where my roots are. I think the war was won even before I got here. I think it was already over.
I even figured that, through the spatial looping system, what could be possible is that the entire physical realm is like a huge landmass, but that landmass is basically cut up. Not literally, they're not literally cut off and then displaced somewhere else. No, they're cut off from each other through spatial loop cut off. So how do you, I could try to draw this. Let's just say, I don't know if you can see this. I have to check it through OBS. You barely see it. It's a box with 9 squares in it, basically. Well, if this is completely invisible. Middle square, if that was our Earth realm, and it's looped from east to west, potentially north to south, or something else, and it's looping in on itself, even though physically beyond the east or west or north or south there could be more land, but you can't reach it because you're gonna loop in on the other side because that loop is set. But if the loop could be altered, then maybe instead, the loop might just open up. It would seem like a portal would open up into the other realm segment. So instead of going into the loop on the other side, suddenly you go into the other realm with its own loop confine. Right. So just to keep it sort of simple. Right. So over here you have the separated segments. They're spatially looping in on themselves. On the other side, you can see suddenly there is a connection. The loop is opened. See? This is a potential mechanical possibility if looping space is a real thing.
Well, if you say so, Arwen, I haven't got a fucking clue what you're on about.
I said this in the chat. They're all, at least in one way or another, they're all conceding without really conceding. It's a little bit aggravating, but it's also like, especially that one Kiwi guy.
Yeah,
I mean, what he said was
just. He's South African, actually.
Oh, my bad. I'm not sure who that's more offensive to, but for all involved, I'm sorry. But
the Australians clearly.
Yeah, right. No, but still, what he said was the most bizarre thing out of all of them.
Right.
It's weird. It's like he's blatantly conceding to the globe, saying the globe model works. The flat model, there's no way to model it whatsoever. And if you want to think about the Earth, it's best to think about it as a globe, but it's actually flat. It's like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that did about sum him up. So.
Well, just geometrically go show. That's the best way to model it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Earth is flat, but if you want to model it geometrically, you use the globe for that. But that doesn't mean anything. What's important is Arwen has finally explained in very simple, easy to understand terms the rectangular looping model.
Yeah.
And after, I don't know why anybody would even think about disagreeing with them. It makes perfect sense to me.
Well, he said it loops round east, north, south, east, and west. So I think that makes it a globe as well, doesn't it? If it's looping in all directions.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there's land outside the flat globe loop, loopy globe. Maybe I got to think about that.
They're doing the same thing Jeremy does. He denies getting an L and he claims that it's a W.
Well, I think that is the crux of it, to be honest, with all their statements. I mean, even QEs who's, oh God. I mean, they're all basically doing that, just conceding finally that they're probably pretty much wrong about most of the stuff they've been trying to model, that they're claiming that's going to fail. And the only thing to do is to, think of it in the ways in which we think about it, but they're still acting as if it's a win or that it's some new understanding or something.
Right.
I know the score of the game was 34-20, but Washington really won the game. Sorry, it's an inside joke for me and Curved.
Dallas is really up.
Are you
Yes,
guys,
they're really
you
kicking
guys
ass
are
right
actually giving out actual scores of an actual game that's happening now, aren't you?
No.
All right.
I had to retaliate though.
This is like code that you're doing in the background.
What do you think about QE though? Like, do you think he's actually going to do that? Because I feel like he gets so much love and admiration and all the above from people on 24/7. I don't think that he wants that to go away.
No, I think
he doesn't.
I think he was sort of enjoying the idea that people were worried that he's going. I think he kind of wants to sort of ride that wave for a bit, that he might leave, so that people will feed his ego and ask him to stay. I think
because he's important.
Well, no, but the thing is, I see a lot of incentive though in that being true, because the Earth is not. There's no strong suits for him in the Earth. Like he makes up some of their arguments, but they're nonsensical. Like when you try to talk about the refraction, and then he brings it back to Al-Biruni and says, all these nonsensical arguments that aren't anything. But he rarely talks about actual science to do with the Earth. And I think that his strong suit is in biology and evolution. He actually prefers to talk about those things.
Right. Well, I won't be sorry to see the bastard go. I know that.
Yeah, right.
It's just a tease, though. Even if he does go back to evolution, he'll have the flat Earth in his back pocket. He can always come back.
Although he is entertaining, isn't he? I mean, he does say a lot of stupid shit. He really does. Like outrageously stupid shit that people just go with.
Yeah, that flat Earth model thing was amazing.
Right,
and then
yeah.
Talking about Soundley's Bridge and how it's level on both sides and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, wasn't it? And what about ranting? I mean,
that's what I was going to ask you guys too.
No one's going to miss Ranty.
Oh, I think
but do you think maybe he's actually just kind of succumbed to the truth, and maybe he's actually, secretly now kind of thinks it's a globe, and he just wants to?
That certainly crossed my mind.
Flat Earth was not putting bread on the table.
He sat there and listened to all those debates, hours and hours and hours of it. Where he's allowed a debate, and I think that maybe that's true.
If you go on Flat Earth for more than a month, and you don't discover the truth, you're not going to discover the truth after 5 years. He didn't discover any truth. He just reevaluated his life.
Maybe. He's done this before, though, hasn't he? He said he's leaving. And usually it's been a sort of a bit of a ploy, I think, to,
Can he take Riley with him?
Oh, that would be great. But then what would we do without Riley? I mean, although I dislike these people, I would miss them if they weren't online,
I'm not sure I got what you meant.
They're useful from an entertainment point of view.
Was that Siri?
Yeah, was that Siri?
No, it's my Bixby.
English Siri?
It's just sprung into life. Let's see what.
It's funny. She just jumped in when you said that too. You're like, I'm gonna miss these guys.
It says, I'm not sure I got what you meant.
Yeah.
So why don't you just shut the fuck up then?
Actually, I agree with that sentiment though. That I don't want Flat Earth to die. I always say that. It's true that those people, specifically QE, Riley, I don't like those guys. But Flat Earth as a whole, I'm gonna actually say what QE had said. We won this before it even started, like you said. So it's like the war is over, but I wouldn't want it to actually end. But yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it, in a way?
It's just kind of a sign, though, that hopefully to a lot of them that they don't really have an argument. I've never seen that guy before, the Kiwi South African guy, but I wish.
He posts a lot. He used to post these like endless videos where he's in front of that whiteboard. And I put a comment on his video once about, that he needs to basically break it up and, make it shorter and more watchable.
He's the George Hotnick of Flat Earth.
Right, and he did. All of his videos since then have been, no more than about 20 minutes long. And he was making these like 2 and 3 hour videos where it's just him in front of that whiteboard going through all this, Eye of Horus and all this sort of stuff that he does, all weird stuff that he does,
Well, is there? I hope flat earthers see that his little. Well, I hope they see the show really and see what he said, because it's really quite telling.
I don't think any flatties watch my show, do they?
What's that guy's name again? The one with the whiteboard?
Lindsay Harris.
That sounds. He's not the one that, by any chance, gave us 2 times 3 equals 8, is he? Back with Antonio Subarats. Do you remember that debacle?
Oh no, I remember that guy. Yeah, no, he's a different guy. He was an Australian, but I know. Yeah, they are sort of similar, aren't they? I know who you mean. But no, he's a different guy. What was that guy called? Oh, I can't remember. Can anyone remember that guy who was... It was something Crush. What was that? Oh, no, that was what he called it, wasn't it? Flat Earth Crush, didn't he call it? Something.
Well, there's Batman, Sheppa, Merle, and Becky. Those are all Australian.
It was this guy that Subarats hung around with. This like nutty guy. Anyway. I think we've maybe done that to death. Should I have another clip? I think we should.
Let's do it.
Last week we brought you up to date with the latest from the King and the findings in his Portuguese cave. That was actually quite a long video, so here is a final installment just to complete the story. Enjoy.
After yesterday's discoveries, we sent the decoded information to Greg, and he asked us to come here to these ancient ruins in a place called Abacada. Now, these are incredibly important, and he talks about this in episode 1.
The biggest secret in the Catholic Church is that there were 2 Jesuses.
In AD 33 to 37, the 2 Jesuses came here to Portugal and used this building behind me to write the Book of Revelations. One of the questions you're probably asking yourself is, why would the 2 Jesuses come here to the Algarve, spend 4 years writing the Book of Revelations? For what reason? I asked Greg this specific question, and he explained to me it's because of this particular spot holds some very special energy lines that run through the entire planet, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Greg is far better able to answer those questions than I am. After they'd finished writing the Book of Revelations, both Jesuses separated, and one of them came here to Estoy. He established himself inside the community as a respectable business person by taking advantage of the amazing local grapes that were grown here, and he became a famous winemaker. Hence the story, Jesus turning water into wine. After several years, Jesus settled down and had a family. His popularity grew inside the community, as a famous winemaker. It was at this stage he came up with a brilliant plan to spread Christianity throughout the Roman world by getting one of his sons inside the Roman Empire as a centurion in exchange for accepting the Roman emperors into the secrets of the Egyptian mysteries. By AD 76, Jesus' grandson was born by the name of Hadrian, who went on to become very famous for building a wall across the north of England called Hadrian's Wall, which was the marker point of the Roman Empire's northern outpost. The original location where Jesus settled was of course built on and is now called the Palacio de Estoy. Another intriguing curiosity involving Estoy are the garden columns that form a large Christian cross. This decodes to the location of the next keeper of the Egyptian secrets and the initiation by Anubis. Navigating around the circumference of the Earth to the furthest place possible and adding 88 miles will bring you to Auckland in New Zealand. Going through the center of the Earth and adding 77 miles, you arrive at the same location. Biblical secrets that Portugal hides all point in one direction, and that's here to the chapel of Estoy. Inside this small church, there are more codes and keys to unraveling the mysteries of these biblical predictions than anywhere else in Europe. Here the evidence of the two Jesuses are beautifully recorded on the ceiling and the walls. The statue of Mary gazes lovingly at the Holy Grail in its 18 arrows on both sides. 360 degrees divided by 18 is 20, but there's two of them. 2020. Now I know what you're thinking. What happened to the other Jesus? After they've written the book of Revelations and they left Abacada, that's when the story gets very interesting. While one Jesus stayed here in Portugal, the other Jesus took his wife and family. He moved north, spreading Christianity along the way, and eventually settled in a famous place that was to become known as Londinium. Portugal was always a very interesting place for us. Greg spoke about the secrets the Algarve holds. What we found is so important, it needed to be shared with the entire world.
So that was the last bit of that story of the king. I'm sure we'll get more from him in the future, but I just felt that since the video is out there, people should hear the other half of it and the story of the two Jesuses. What do you reckon, Kat? You're a Jesus fan.
Are these the Bible Jesuses?
I think
or is it
so.
Jesus?
Yeah, they're the Bible Jesuses. There's two. There's two, apparently.
It makes sense, kind of. I don't know if Kat, you there, Kat? It makes sense. Again, with the, I don't know what it means to say anything offensive. Yeah, Kat, if you're there, I know Joe was trying to get your opinion on it. I just didn't know if you were to speak up.
I see you're on mute, Kat, but I can't hear you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've unplugged something or something.
Right.
Oh,
hello?
Yeah, he's back
Cats.
on another account. Well,
two Jesus, two cats.
What was it? I literally only just got back. Sorry, I had a bit of an emergency. Hello?
Two Jesuses we're talking about.
Yeah, what did he say happened? There was two Jesuses?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and one of them became a famous winemaker. I can't remember. And they wrote the book of Revelation in Portugal.
And the other one was a fisherman, famous fisherman.
I don't know. What was the other one? What did he say the other one was?
And the other one was an Undertaker. So there should be 3 Jesus. Miracle. No, I don't know. I didn't hear it. But it's obviously, I don't believe that.
You're not buying it. Fair enough.
No, I'm not buying 2 Jesuses.
I'm pretty sure the other Jesus was a carpenter and a fisherman, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
He didn't mention that, did he? But something's happening in 2020, apparently.
2020 vision.
I don't know what that is, but
I don't know. No man knows the end, or whatever that saying is.
It makes the story of his resurrection make sense. It's kind of like in The Prestige. I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you know The Prestige, it's a lot like that plot.
Okay, so what happened? Sorry, I missed that. I feel really bad.
It's quite a lot to explain.
Oh, it was really complicated.
He says there's 2 Jesuses in
he also missed last week's The King.
Oh yeah.
That one was
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, that was good.
Right.
That one was a good one too.
They found a
But he also said that one of the
Jesus,
Jesuses,
and that was significant.
the same cave Jesus was in, or maybe both Jesuses were in. But he had said he said that Hadrian, the one who built the Hadrian's Wall, was Jesus' grandson.
Right.
Said that.
Not the wine. Oh, the winemaker, right? Jesus, the winemaker.
Right. The winemaker.
Yeah, that one. But they both got together in Portugal, Kat, and they wrote Revelation.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Because they thought that their name was John. So,
But they were only one person in that, because there's only one Jesus in Revelation.
No, there's 2.
Oh.
And how much would a bottle of Jesus wine go for today?
Yeah. It's probably good stuff.
Yeah.
But better than what I'm drinking right now. But
how did you not get the simple code breaking on 2020? Mary had the 18 spikes around her or whatever, and 360 divided by 18 is 20. There were 2 Jesuses, so 2020.
That sounds good. That's so weird. Why would there be 2 Jesuses? That's such a weird.
Did you really come up with that on the spot, Curved?
No, he said that.
I was gonna say that's pretty good if you did, man. But
I actually listened to the video.
Curved is always listening.
Nobody else bothered. Even though I'm not that sure what was in it, and I edited it.
He says a lot though. He does say a lot, and
yeah, he does.
Half of it is it's hard to separate the bull, because it's like I almost feel like he's making up these stories as if they like just to see if they'll keep believing him. Like he says more and more like incredible stuff.
Right, and people just keep soaking it up, don't they? They seem to.
Trying to see what he can get away with.
All right, shall we move on?
I kind of want to watch that clip. Can you watch that clip again?
I've sent you clips. You can watch it later, can't you?
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask though, what if there was, if we know of any more that might be coming from this king?
No, but I don't think we've heard the last of him at all. I think there's going to be more from him. He seems to have sort of, there isn't the sort of frenzy surrounding him that there was, I think, but he's still around, isn't he? I think we'll get more videos from Mahoney on this.
Yeah. What he needs is some American backing. He needs to get big in America, and that way, we'll back him up in case he actually goes to go against the crown.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Americans that met him did like him, didn't they? I mean, it was that guy was very excited to be invited to Buckingham Palace and everything.
Maybe he can hire Sleeping Warrior as an attorney in this case. They can use
So
the women and children argument.
Yeah, flip flops in a bathing suit and show up to his coronation.
I thought America was founded on getting away from our king. I don't know why I'm trying to make friends with this one.
Yes, I can't see him. It's not an immensely popular idea in America, is it? Kings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm not American.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's enough time has passed that it's almost like it's like retro. It's like
You
people
miss
want-
us, don't you? You miss us.
Well, I think you guys like us having one, you know, a monarch, but I don't think you'd want one. I think you quite enjoy us having one. Anyway.
I thought you had a queen.
Sorry?
And not a king.
A queen, yes.
You have a queen,
He
yes.
said he thought you guys.
Oh, sorry, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know the exact history of it. Sorry, that was really terrible of me. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to do another clip. Nobody speak. Last week, we featured a barrage of bullshit from the COVID lie tour. Now, the British public are a pretty tolerant lot most of the time, but not everyone was happy to stand back and let these nutters blab their crap unchallenged. Here are a few examples.
Would you like your turn on the microphone?
Okay.
Everybody needs to go and get their vaccination. I've got grandchildren.
You need to put it a bit closer. No one can hear you. Bit closer. Bit closer. No one can hear you.
Do you not care?
Yeah, that's why we're here. We care so much. We really do. We care a lot.
Do you know what's in the vaccines? Do you know that these vaccines are not being
Okay.
tested?
Okay.
They're not being tested. Do you know what's in them vaccines?
Yeah. Speak to the people of Carlisle. Speak to the people.
Vaccine is not out yet.
Okay.
And we need a good vaccine.
For what?
And if people
What?
people turn around and say, no, I don't want a vaccine, they're killing other people. They are.
You are very misunderstood.
You are going on the bloody internet. You're not reading. You
Yeah.
don't go research.
Well, that's what we are doing. There's 650 doctors, scientists, and that.
I
Yeah.
want somebody else to come and shout about this.
Yeah, please, 30 odd. Do you want me to? I'll ask someone to shout about it. Sorry, what you don't think we should have free speech?
Not people like
'Cause
you.
right, I'd like the mic back
Keep
then.
away from it.
Yeah, but that's
Just
theft.
keep away.
It's theft now.
You need to keep your
I know, but you're
computers.
breaking the law now.
No, you are.
It's free speech, madam.
You are breaking.
I don't. Okay,
You really are.
please,
No, you don't
please,
want me to do
please.
it.
I'm sorry.
I just say we do like people to come up and have their say, but you just came out of a shop and so well, you're not in a shop now, and it's mandatory in shops. So why are you
But it's
still
about
wearing
your
it
autonomy.
now?
Why are you deciding whether I should be wearing my mask or not?
Say again.
If it's about autonomy, why are you deciding if I should be wearing my mask?
I'm not saying
Because it's not natural to wear a mask in the fresh air.
It's not natural to wear clothes. Why are you doing that? I think doctors and
Because that's so.
You could get arrested if we don't.
And COVID's been engineered.
They don't want your good. If they want your good, you keep it for yourself. Defend it. Okay, thank you.
So it affects people dying. I accept that. And I'll like it. Sorry.
Well, mentioned there about Bill Gates actually planning the situation.
I've seen it. I've seen the Bill Gates
pandemic.
Yeah, I've seen the pandemic.
Okay. So what did you think of it?
I thought it had valid argument. I'm not saying this is it. I don't agree with Trump. I don't agree with Boris Johnson. I think Nicholas handled it very well, as best you can. But this information is dangerous.
Okay, fair enough. But are you aware of the doctors who are saying the same thing?
Yes, it's dangerous because something's out there. It's COVID. Something's out there killing people.
Yeah. No, not at all. Give this man a round of applause. It takes courage to come up.
This woman's mental.
That's a bit abusive, don't like that. You know, if you're going to be nasty, mate, there's no...
Can I have a speak? Because I'm an epidemiologist. I've spent my entire life researching diseases. I don't know.
Brainwashed, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I'm brainwashed. I'm from a working class family in Ashton, near here. Worked my entire life, went to school my entire life, and worked hard. I know, I'm not saying you haven't. But I'm saying these scientists on lofty towers aren't all scientists who come from God knows where. Some will come from places like Ashton and have family who are coal miners. And I look at this data every single day. And my colleagues look at this data every single day.
Question the data. Question the data. Investigate the data.
Scientists question the data every day. That is what we do. That is what jobs. This is what people are very good at.
What about the faulty test?
I learned how to do a polymerase chain reaction test when I was 19, so I don't need you to tell us how one works. I'm gonna go, but I just want to say, scientists are normal people as well. Why would they lie to you? We're not. All I'm saying is, all your neighbours and friends who work in the NHS, why do it to them? But why listen to this woman rather than all the people around the world who train all their lives to help against viruses and disease? Well, okay then, you make your...
Science does not require blind faith, ladies and gentlemen. Science is a process of research and investigation.
Well, I couldn't have said that any better myself, but the research and investigation isn't on your side. But you're putting all of these people in danger.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Right, this is happening more and more. People are coming up and they're not agreeing with what's on this sign. People think that we are not interested in science, that we're somehow ignoring the science. We are begging for real science. And as the lady said, if he is in epidemiology, has he got any real scientific explanation as to why we can be 6 people and not 7?
She said doctors in surgeries were them. I was talking about
I know it's
doctors
really
in
fun.
surgery.
Been proven and people have actually died of. I don't know. I know it's fun to go on
This is
Facebook
all
and get
based
conspiracy
on
theories,
germ
like, you
theory.
know,
This is all based on germ theory. In science, a theory is something that's not been proven.
You don't need to say what
It's
theory
something that's not been proven.
What, COVID-19 has not been proven?
No, it's not. A theory,
It's
a
not been
scientific theory.
isolated.
What's a
The
scientific theory?
specific strain
of
COVID-19
has not been
isolated.
Pandemics
occur once every 100 years. We are in an age of modern medicine, and the fact that we've had the knowledge as to how we can stop this virus, and people are in very privileged countries like you guys that have money, that have a roof over your head, that have a means to stop the spread, are still deciding to come out here and tell us not to wear masks. I just think,
Do you believe of social crediting?
Did you mention a country then?
Because that China's the model. We're modelling our society now on the society in China. Yes, we are. Yes, welcome to social credit scoring. It's here.
And where's your evidence on that?
And the government will tell you.
Oh, so wait, you said you're coming.
And the health passports that are coming out?
Yeah, COVID pass, look it up. I would advise you, if you don't believe me, get on the World Economic Forum website. They will tell you everything that's coming. They are the masters of the universe, and they are remodeling society in a system which they see fit to give us.
Was that control as well?
Okay.
Seatbelts control.
And I'm telling you, it is a technological prison that they've got planned for you. It's not a secret. Go to the World Economic Forum. This is the fourth industrial revolution, they call it. It's no evolution. It's no nothing natural coming from the people. They are forcing their new systems upon us. They are telling you themselves that this pandemic is the perfect opportunity to reset the economy.
But you're saying end lockdown, end social distancing, say no to the muzzle, so no masks.
I personally will die before I put a muzzle on my face.
A muzzle, as opposed to a mask.
Well, you call it a mask, I call it a muzzle.
Why is it a muzzle?
Because you
Stop when you speak.
Big pun.
Is it stop when you speak? Is it hiding your voice?
It reduces.
Is it hiding your voice?
It reduces 20%.
Is it hiding your voice?
I can't hear people who've got a mask on.
Is it hiding your voice?
Yes.
So you're a bit deaf?
No.
Because I can hear people with a mask on.
Well, I'm not the only one. People have to say, what are you saying? Because if you mumble and then put a mask on, you're not going to hear them.
I've got a teenager who mumbles all the time, you know? You can't hear them without a mask.
Oh, abrupt ending there. So that was the COVID lie tour and people disagreeing with them, which was rather fun, I thought.
Can somebody isolate the virus, please?
That is a claim we hear a lot, actually. What do you reckon to that, Verbal? They say that a lot. It's never been isolated. Do you know what they... is there something that they've heard that makes them say that or something?
Yeah, I mean, they keep going back to the techniques for isolating bacteria, and they don't realize that there's a difference in terms of how we isolate viruses from bacteria.
Right.
And coronavirus has been isolated. Its genome has been sequenced. It's, I mean, it's not in their face, so I'm not expecting that they would know about it. But it's been done. I mean, it was one of the first things we did to investigate what was making all these people sick. It's what China did when they had people that were getting sick with something that looked like a more severe flu. You know, it looked like a virus, sounded like a virus, and sure enough, they were able to isolate a virus. What's wrong with that?
It makes sense to me. It's just, I just wonder, when you hear them say some, particular phrase a lot, it's usually grounded somewhere. You know what I mean? It's something they've misinterpreted or misunderstood. And I was just aiming at that, really.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you, but let's see. I'm just doing. If you just type into Google COVID-19 isolation, you can see that the first cases were isolated. It looks like my first search result. Korea isolated the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Right.
But multiple countries have done this. It's not just one country you have to take at their word.
Somebody's asking if I'm in another room. Am I very quiet again? Sorry. I'll get a new mic for next week because
I can hear you fine the entire time.
Your mic is fine. It was a different sound at first, but you've never been inaudible. So
all right.
Yeah, you're good to go.
But the old man in the leather jacket, I thought, made a good point in that, I mean, we're still dealing with germ theory here. And we know in science, a theory is something that has not been proven.
Oh, no.
I've got my fingers together with my thumb, shaking my hand, just like he did when he said that shit.
You really
You've heard that line
can't
before.
believe people are still saying that, can you? After all this time.
You can't get sick from a theory. Or something like that. Censors, I'm joking, I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, sorry, I thought you just lost your mind.
There's people, when there's like new people who come into the server sometimes and they're science-minded people or scientists even, and they often say it that I think it's because we're so, we're so used to this argument that we're careful in what we say. We say things about what theories are in science and scientific proof and that kind of thing. Whereas, like I said, people who are they're science-minded and they'll still get those concepts wrong. So,
I wonder what that guy thinks of the theory of electromagnetism. Does he think that electronics work?
It's just a theory, Verbal.
But does it work?
Who knows? We can't be sure.
I think we're testing it right now with the internet and our computers.
I've got two magnets stuck together. I don't even know that they really exist.
It's a theory.
It's quite sad. I do kind of I kind of appreciate the sentiment of what they're arguing about. It's just that they're sort of professional wind-up merchants who just do this because they enjoy doing it, not because they actually believe in a cause. That's what annoys me about these people, because they're just doing it flat. That's got boring now. Let's sort of hijack this. And it's just really not helpful. It's kind of like how I felt a bit back in the day. The conspiracy thing got completely sidetracked by Flat Earth, and it just kind of made a mockery of other things that do need to be talked about. And they just really don't help these people. It's really, really, really annoying watching them talk. But he was right about one thing. Science doesn't prove anything, I guess, in a technical way. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess you can say that.
Yeah, it's not about proof. I had a long YouTube argument with someone about this, but it's not proof. Science isn't proof, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's not meant to.
It's
Yeah,
evident, though.
Yeah, it's meant to. Yeah.
Proof.
Exactly.
But by the way, you gotta super chat.
I got a big fat super chat. Welcome back, Cat. It says from Todd Allen.
What is a dollar?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's Australian, whatever.
It's
Dollars.
pink as well. It's very pink.
It's peanuts?
I've not seen a pink super chat before. But thank you very much, Todd. That is really, really appreciated. It makes it all those hours I spent doing this worthwhile.
You're going to get a milkshake tonight for sure, Jim.
Oh, it's a bit late for that now.
And you got another super chat, my man.
And Todd Allen says again, wear your masks, you mongs. There you go. Thank you very much, Todd Allen, for those super chats.
You also got a shout out from Nick.
Oh, we got another one now. I just heard another.
No. Oh well, I don't see another one. Nick was saying cat.
Back to my OBS.
Can somebody give Nick beer money, please?
Yeah. Arjman needs cigarette butts and Nick needs beer money. Come on, guys. Help the community out.
But I got to say, we should not be wearing masks. I mean, is there actually any medical evidence it's helping? It's like, I don't know about you guys, but you don't have to wear a mask all day, I'm guessing. And if you have to wear a mask all day, like, you might start thinking, what's the fucking point?
I do have to wear a mask all day.
Yeah, sucks.
The doctor. Hey, I got to tell you, though, I was on the bus the other day. Probably like 10 other people on there, like an old person. I mean, most of them are old people. But one person sitting at the front of the bus was coughing like crazy. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, at that moment, I was like, I really hope these masks work. But I was like, even if they don't, it's like, I feel like it's doing something. Like, that person could be, like, they're coughing, obviously.
Well, were they
whether
wearing a mask?
not, at least it's not getting everywhere. And then
It's
also...
them that needs to be wearing a mask, not you.
The principal effect of the mask is that the person who has the virus is less likely to aerosolize it if they're wearing a mask. That's been demonstrated. It's been demonstrated for other viruses.
Was that guy wearing a mask that was doing all the coughing?
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, everywhere in Austin, but yeah, on the bus also. By the way, you got another super chat, Mr. Jem.
Thank you very much. Todd Allen says, buy Cat a beer.
I'm not drinking beer at the moment. I'm only having a little bit of wine. Just a little bit in the evening.
I've had a
It's
cider.
really not nice one.
I've had a whole bottle of cider while I've been doing the show. Well, I say a whole bottle. I mean a whole 500 milliliter bottle, I guess it is.
Well, somebody like that co-show that you assess to be a health risk to the public, you can throw them off the bus. You just need to wait until the bus is stopped, or at least moving slow enough that you're not going to kill them.
Well, he was coughing like crazy, and it wasn't the first time. It wasn't the second time. The third or the fourth time, somebody yelled at him. Like, I heard somebody yell something angrily, but I didn't hear what they said exactly. I think they were yelling at him.
Go isolate yourself.
Put him in the rear naked choke. That'll suppress his cough. Choke him out.
Show our final clip, because this show is absurdly long. So we're at 2 hours and 13 minutes already.
Yeah,
no, we didn't talk about this more, Jim. I mean, there's so much more to say.
Thanks very much, Todd Allen again says, buy Cat a wine.
Yeah. Quite cheap as well. Box wine is fine with me.
All right, we've got a good one to finish on, I think. Finally, this week. No, and finally, last week, we brought you a king without a castle. This week, we have a castle without a king, but it does have a Q-tard. Meet John Mappin.
Tonight, we would like to present Donald Trump with an historic and noble award and an honorary Camelot Castle knighthood.
Somebody says here, Dolly Daydream was about to read some Dianetics, then you came on. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is probably the most valuable weapon in any freedom fighter's arsenal. This is the book, Dianetics, by L. Ron Hubbard. If you haven't read it, get a copy and read it. This is counter-brainwashing technology. It's called Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health. It was published on May 9th, 1950. It went to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. It stayed there for 36 weeks in a row. And the medical industrial complex and the pharmaceutical industrial complex had a total freak out. And then they launched the largest fake news campaign in the history of fake news, even bigger than the fake news campaign against President Trump. But funnily enough, it's the same people have attacked L. Ron Hubbard as attack President Trump. So Dolly J. Dream, you are going to thoroughly enjoy Dianetics. I would thoroughly, for those of you that are not familiar with that book, everything that we do at Camelot Castle, everything that we've achieved since 1990 has been influenced and has been helped by that book. Now we are on our way to basically locate the crop circle which materialized in Wiltshire, just outside, what is the town called, Ted? Potern is the town. And the thing is with approaching, when one approaches the vicinity of a crop circle, is one is immediately, one has a heightened sense of anticipation, and one starts to feel the energy and perceive the energy of oneself. And welcome to the tree crop circle. I don't know if it has an official name, but you can see this beautiful old English oak, or it's actually a young English oak, which is even more interesting, because this is Quercus quercus, which is the Latin name for the English oak. And this is one of the 4, I call them helper circles that was around, and you can see here the tram line going out now on this other side. Yeah, because actually that's a very good point you make, because you know, we've had fake news and fearmongers and Piers Morgans and these characters for years, and they've basically, we've been turning on our television every morning to hear about this shooting and this disaster and that disaster. And of course, there have been periods of sort of pretty extreme freak out, I would say. But I have not experienced this level of mass fear, mass hypnosis, mass brainwashing. And I think you could be onto something there. What if the virus itself, what I think, if I'm understanding you exactly, is that the virus itself could trigger adrenaline spike across the population and then render them more fearful. So you feel like I'm about to be attacked, which is the adrenochrome, is the fight or flight
yes, it is.
Hormone.
Good evening. Now, one of the most wonderful things to be able to do in the English countryside is the exploratory baigner au nature. In order to achieve the optimum baigner au nature, one certainly needs to find a stretch of river that is quite private and completely and utterly gin clear, such as this stunning section of a river somewhere in Hampshire, somewhere in England. What I would say to you is that there has rarely been a stretch of river which is quite as beautiful as the one which we have found tonight with our exploration.
So that was John Mappin, who is a well-known, well, I'll just call him a Q-tard again, I guess.
Yeah, and he's in the Scientology too, I suppose.
Right, yes, Scientology
brilliant.
as well.
I was pleasantly surprised to see my old.
Is that actually Scientology, or is that just his mental health book thing? Is it that? Because it does have the picture of the volcano on the front of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like, is it actually?
It kind of is. It's sort of, in some respects, forms the basis of Scientology, doesn't it?
I thought it was the
Dianetics.
Psychological side of it. Yeah.
Well, I thought that's what Scientology is for the most. I mean, other than the religious context.
They believe in like a big alien that sealed a load of souls in a volcano that exploded, and then
that's not in Dianetics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it had the volcano on the front of Dianetics, didn't it?
Yeah, they have the volcano on it.
Yeah, I was wondering. Because I've never read any of them. I just know that I've heard.
Oh, don't waste your money. Just buy your wine.
I bought Dianetics actually. I got talked into it when I was about 17, I think I was, or something like that. I went to one of these like psychic fairs, where they have people selling, well, books and bongs, basically.
Did they measure your thetans?
No, they didn't do any of that. No, they just did. A guy just did a sort of a hard sell on me and got me to buy the book.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Dolly Daydream tried to confront me with Scientology, I'd probably be hooked right away. Probably immediately.
Yeah, it's interesting that she sort of made a cameo appearance, as it were, or not. But
was any of the other? Was it flat Earth related, like any of the other stuff that guy talks about?
Because, no, he's not. He's not a flatty, I don't think. He just does a QAnon. But he's live streaming all the time, and he does interviews with all sorts of people. He's had them all in there. He's had all of the COVID lot, Piers Corbyn, Kate Shimarani, and Korthman, and all the people that we've heard of over the months. He's interviewed all of them.
What about the mysterious German doctor?
And he was yeah. Oh, I don't know if he's interviewed him. He was actually, I think, when Trump was elected, that first clip was from 2016. And when Trump was elected, he runs this, is it called, I think it's called Centerpoint, I think it's called. It's some sort of student organization that, that supports Trump. And this John Mappin, he runs that. And as a result of that, he was invited to the White House and met Trump. And at that point, he was like the third Briton, I think, to meet him.
Oh, wow. Well, when he was president.
So, yeah, there's a photo somewhere of him, stood with Trump and what's her name, Melania. Yeah, he's an interesting character, isn't he? He's a Q-tard and a Scientologist. He knows Trump, has met Trump, and he runs this vast hotel. That's a hotel, that Camelot Castle, where he lives. I don't know if he owns it, but I think he does.
Gotta get and get with this guy, and he knows Dolly Daydream. This should be one of my friends, to be honest with you.
And does he
But he's
own those crop fields, or was
No,
he just
he
going
didn't
there?
own. He didn't own the field. No.
He's the only person I've ever seen do a live stream from inside of a pond.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about the crop circle when he was in it. Did you like see the energy field rising? Standing in the no. Oh.
Well, it was a bit of a
Was he
letdown because the farmer had actually harvested the crop circle when they got there. So
I was going to say it looked all messed up.
yeah, it was. Apparently, the farmer, he said, he talks about this, and he met the farmer, and he said the farmer was a really, really nice guy, and he didn't know that the crop circle was there. He said when you're in the combined harvester, you don't get the perspective on it, so you don't see it. So they just mowed over it, and that was.
Did he think aliens had done that crop circle?
I don't know what he thinks.
I wonder if people still think that.
It was interesting though. I don't know if you noticed, but with the shadow of the tree, it makes a Q.
Oh really?
Gosh,
that's cool.
My God.
That's just too much to be a coincidence, Jim.
Absolutely, isn't it? It's totally a Q.
You're saying something, Covered Water?
Yeah, there's actually an even bigger coincidence here. I just realized you're spelling your name incorrectly, Kosha. It begins with a Q. It's Qosho. And that hotel, that castle, that is the castle of the future King Kosho. That's why that Q is up there. That is for you.
Oh wow!
They'll start that, man, because I might have to go up against that king and then go up against the queen, and the three of us it'll be a big showdown.
That'll be a three-way.
You're not
a fatal
you're
three-way.
not the British king. You're not the British king. But Dolly will be your queen.
Okay, I'm liking this already. Yeah, okay, I'm down.
He seems like a nice guy though. I kind of like the guy. I don't know what it is, but he seems sort of.
He's very calm.
Yeah, it's very.
It's just eccentric.
Yeah.
Eccentric
He's a sort of
upper classes.
classic British eccentric, isn't it? Yeah.
I think he's goofy, and I wouldn't feel bad about meeting him and picking his pocket.
What?
Oh Jesus! You can take his wallet while he's in the pond. Take it from his band.
And it looks like a lovely, lovely hotel as well. It's in Cornwall, I believe.
I'm gonna stay there. Exorbitant prices right now though, and no refunds. But
Yeah, I wonder how much it is to stay there. It looked really nice there, didn't it?
do you reckon he sits there and chats to people about Q and stuff, like when you're staying there?
I bet he
That'd be
does.
quite fun. Yeah, that'd be quite good.
He has all sorts staying there, all sorts of people he's interviewed. It's called Camelot TV Network, his channel anyway, I should probably mention. All right, shall we wrap it up? You stayed to the end, Kat. Thank you so much for that.
Sorry, I had a little emergency in the middle. Sorry about that.
Now, just one thing about this whole guy in the Scientology, because it does bother me that there's so many not so many, but the Scientologists, at least, they have a record of being fairly successful, at least the examples that we see of them. Because this is one of the kookier dudes on here. I mean, this guy like owns a hotel and stuff. So I don't know if has anything to do with him being a Scientologist or not.
No,
sort of success.
He sounds like old money to me, mate. He sounds like.
Oh yeah, good point.
The hotel was probably some family home that they turned into a hotel.
Well, I'm going to stay there definitely. That's why I'll
I wouldn't mind.
I've got to
I
go somewhere
wouldn't mind meeting
soon.
the guy. I bet he's an interesting bloke to meet. All right, shall we wrap it up? I think we should, because we've been going for 2.5 hours, which is big.
Without any Lale sightings.
Yeah,
Oh, no, that's true.
He's
Oh,
supposed
I
to do
missed out a super chat. Let me just do this. Buy Cat a cheap wine from Todd Allen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Lidl's especially. They do a really cheap box wine. It's really nice.
Oh,
Cabernet Sauvignon.
I buy quite a lot of wine, but I just stick it in gravy.
Yeah.
In sauces and things. I never drink it. And I always think, I should get some to drink. So which one do you get? And I might nip to Lidl and
Get the Cabernet Sauvignon from Chilean wine from Lidl, own brand, I think.
Okay.
Fucking bargain, mate. It's like 5-6 bottles of wine for like 13 quid, I think. It's Daddy Longlegs. I know they're not poisonous, but they freak me out. Sorry. I hate Daddy Longlegs.
Come on.
All right, I'm going to.
No, this is weird. And you know they've got the most toxic venom known to man, apparently.
Yeah, but just not very much of it. Yeah, I think I've heard that. All right, let me end the damn thing. A great big thank you to everyone who has donated to my PayPal so far. If you can support the show, please follow the links in the description. And please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Join us again next week for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video. Or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord has nearly, over 2,000 members, and we managed to keep the conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thank you, Todd Allen. In Australia, they call box wine, what? Goons? Goons.
That's appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around the same time next week. So until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a good night.
Stop talking about it and do something! Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent sir here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? Is your friend was?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
And we're off.